Farmers Weekly's Finding 50k series has kicked off in last week's Farmers Weekly, where every week they unpick parts of the good that is going on to get us in the right direction. The target's been moved out to 2030 by those in the industry to pledge to find the 50,000 workers short that we are, and whether they are going to come from a vocational education pathway or a more higher academic tertiary education pathway is yet to be determined. But one dairy farmer has said that the framework is outdated, broken, and creating the wrong behaviours. There is a thing called CoVE, which stands for Centres of Vocational Excellence, and a new food and fibre CoVE board has been established with members from across the primary sector. One gentleman who's going to kick us off on this Opinion Maker show is fellow CoVE board member and Federated Farmers National board member responsible for skills and training, also Masterton farmer William Beetham joins us now. William, thank you so much for your time and dedication to this massive gaping issue. Why are you personally so passionate about this particular role that you play?
Oh, I think I have a strong belief that I've been given significant opportunities by being involved in this industry, and I'm really, really grateful for where I live and what I'm able to do, and I want future generations to have those same opportunities. And I just think that the generation entering our industry has different requirements, think differently. And so, but they present a massive opportunity to our industry, and that's really exciting. So I think we've got to really start to think differently about how we better cater for the new generation coming in, and how we help the current generation of farmers upskill and be better to deliver for that next generation coming in to help move the whole industry forward.
There's some various pillars and to this framework. Attraction is one of them, as is the training that we provide and how we train, as well as the retention of those quality people we've invested in. But over the years, the attractiveness of the primary sector by careers advisors at a high school level hasn't been very well supported, William. Why do you think we're still in this perception of the industry, and what more do we need to do to even start to work down these training pathways?
Yeah, listen, I think the issue has been long going. I mean, when I was at school, we were told that there's no future in farming. You're better off being a lawyer or an accountant. Those perceptions, I think, have changed quite significantly recently, and I think there is a program happening that started out in the East Cape, up around Gisborne, and is now in the wider upper, called Growing Future Farmers. Now, we've had something like 60 applicants for that program this year, of which there's been 17 that we've found farms, or that have been found by the crew in the wider upper to place on farms. 60 applicants of young people, of which, from what I understand, a large proportion of those were young women. So what has changed those opportunities for us to access? I think social media has been a huge part of that, almost circumventing the negative aspects of what this careers advisors have been saying and what's been put up about our industry. And so for me, that's incredibly exciting. And I think this is where we can take a much bigger role and opportunity to promote our career through likes of social media and connecting with those who are already doing it on farm, those young people who are doing great jobs already, and really telling that story. But I think there is a requirement for us to have real integrity about our story of having young people working on farms and moving into our industry. And that means that as employers, we've got to make sure that our accommodation is in good condition. Our pastoral care is in great. We have pastoral care systems in place for the young people when they come into our industry, and that we have really strong support networks and further development around those people entering our industry. And I think really demonstrating that sort of a package provides us a great opportunity to continue to attract the best young people in New Zealand.
I totally 100% agree with you, William. I share this often. When we were on the tour, the Will to Live tour with my sister Ellie, there was a farmer in Southland who said to his wife, I didn't realise the well-being of my employees was my responsibility. And that was extremely upsetting that we'd got to that part. And you spoke there earlier around young employees coming into the industry and that we have to treat them differently because they are a different generation with different expectations. And, you know, they want to feel like they are contributing, but they also want to feel like they are also very connected to their growth through their job. How can the likes of what the role of Federated Farmers do to explain that the workplace of the future on farms has to be a completely different way of being?
Yeah, I think the role of our organisation is to continue to, so our organisation is ground up, members on the ground who are elected into positions and who look to take opportunities to rise through to speak for farmers and be really connect back to our council members and our elected members who are still out in our provinces. So that's, for our organisation, what role do we take? You know, we take the role of actually understanding exactly what's happening on farm, those challenges of farmers. You know, I think farmers generally want to be good employers, but there's many restrictions in a modern farming environment in terms of getting things done, financial pressures, all the other issues that we need to think of. So how do we as an organisation effectively advocate within the training and skills space in New Zealand to say, how can we better support our farmers in this space to ensure that what a farmer struggles with delivering and understanding that on the ground, because we're in constant communication with farmers on the ground, actually communicating that to those who are delivering our training going forward. And so I think that's an important role, and conduit is a vital role that our organisation plays in giving real understanding to those who are delivering going forward. Communicating with our farmers, I think there's a real opportunity going forward, and I think both industry, Federated Farmers and government has a role in better connecting with all of our farmers and getting a greater understanding of what their responsibilities are around people. And if we can do that in a really positive light and create those opportunities and present different ways of doing things, I think that will be well adopted by farmers. And I also think, you know, we've got to think of our farms as a community, not as an individual farm, as a silo. And I think that's a big opportunity. There used to be big farms and young people trained on those farms and they would have lots of support around that. Well, the times have changed. There is less employees on the same farm, but the same amount of employees operating in the community. And so approaching pastoral care and support for young people as a community is a real opportunity.
William, you're involved with what is known as CoVE, the industry-based centres of vocational excellence, and we have a range of different ways that we train within the industry, but there is a lot of double up and there's a lot of examples that haven't gone so well. How does the food and fibre CoVE that you're a part of become more than just, let's say, a talk fest and actually see some action happening for some collaboration within these organisations?
Well, the setup of the Food and Fibre Centre of Vocational Excellence is part of the RoVE review, or the review of vocational excellence that the Vocational Education Government did a while ago. And what really came out of that review is that training organisations across New Zealand need to work more collaboratively. They need to work much closer with industry and employers, and they also need to have much more consistent, education programs and qualifications. So that's sort of that the whole vocational training sector is going through and being reviewed and being restructured into. Where we sit within the CoVE is I see that we are experienced employers, farmers, and also be involved in the industry, and we need to take a strong look of what's actually happening on farm and what is going well and what isn't going so well. and think of innovative ways to deliver. And it's up to the directors of the CoVE to lead those projects, ensure that these needs are being met, and that we're really thinking differently. How do we deliver for future generations?
It's a very, very big task, and thank you so much for all your dedication to the cause. That's William Beetham there from Federated Farmers, responsible for skills and training, the portfolio for Federated Farmers, and as just explained there, sitting on the board of the Centre for Vocational Excellence, which is education, my apologies.
Oh, nice boots.
Yeah, thanks. They're new.
Ben, you all right?
Oh, yeah, sorry, mate. Just meerkatting pretty hard, eh? Yeah. I just said to myself, Ben, you work hard. You deserve new boots.